All right, so you want to install a security camera, but your application doesn't allow you to run wires for a wired NVR system. And you're in a location that doesn't have Wi-Fi or has really bad Wi-Fi. And you're like, what the heck do I do? Well, today I'm talking about a camera that might be the solution. Let's go. What up, everybody? George Langabeer here. In the world of home security cameras, for a long time now, we've had two main options. We've had wired systems or wired NVR systems, which you've heard me talk about, and I will always say is my favorite. And then we also have Wi-Fi cameras or Wi-Fi systems for when you can't run wires. Like this building, I can't run wires here, so I use a lot of Wi-Fi cameras. But what if you're in a situation where you can't use either? What if you can't run wires? What if you don't have Wi-Fi? Or what if you have really crappy Wi-Fi? Or what if you're a farmer that just wants a camera out in the middle of a field? Well, we haven't had many options in the past, but here more and more, we're getting more options, and they're called LTE cameras. They're cameras that operate on cellular. And today we're talking about one from Reolink, the Reolink TrackMix LTE. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm gonna tell you what comes in the box. I'm going to tell you price and specs. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Reolink app, and I'm going to give you my pros and cons, my full reviews. So let's talk about first what comes in the box. All right, we have the camera, we have a mounting template, we have a USB-C cable, we have a strap, and we have a quick start guide, and that's it. Now let's quickly talk about setup and installation. As far as setup, you're going to get the Reolink app, sign up for an account if you haven't already, you're going to add a device, and then you're going to add that camera to the app. And then as far as installation, this camera in particular is pretty easy. You're going to go through the process on the Reolink app. It's going to walk you through it step by step. You're going to add that cellular service because that's what this camera is. It's an LTE camera that uses cellular service. And then you can mount it wherever you have power, or you can use Reolink's Solar Panel 2, and then you don't even need power. So then you can truly put this camera anywhere as long as your solar panel has some direct sunlight. But the setup and installation is very easy, and again, possibilities are endless as to where you can put this camera. Moving on to price and specs. As far as price, check the description of this video for the current price and also for any discount codes if you're interested in purchasing. This camera has dual lens, dual view, dual tracking. So that means there's two different lenses. We've got a normal lens and a telephoto lens, and both of them can track different objects. Again, this is a 4G LTE camera, meaning that it uses cellular. We've got 4K 8 megapixel resolution. It records at 15 frames per second. We've got H.264 and H.265 video compression. We've got person, vehicle, and animal analytic detection. You can create detection zones, and you do get real-time alerts. Has an IP65 weather rating, and that's rated 14 degrees Fahrenheit to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a 355-degree pan and a 90-degree tilt. And with those dual lenses, you get a 6 times hybrid zoom. We've got spotlight color night vision, and we also have black and white IR night vision. For the IR night vision, black and white, it's up to 100 feet. And Reolink won't give me a distance on the color night vision because they said there's too many variables to give that exact distance. We've got two-way audio, a rechargeable battery, and then you can also use the Reolink Solar Panel 2, and then you don't need to worry about the battery or power at all. But you do need direct sunlight. You've got flexible storage options. You can use a micro SD card up to 128 gigs, and then you can also use Reolink's cloud. As far as smart home compatibility, it's compatible with Google Home, and because of that, if you watch a previous video of mine, I'm using the Starling Home Hub to get this camera in Apple Home, which is fantastic. Now for me personally, I'm using this camera at my storage unit a mile away. There's no Wi-Fi there, so I needed a solution. If you watch a video of mine I did several months ago on a Eufy LTE camera, that was the first camera I put in the storage unit. I used that for several months and I did like it, but I decided to replace it with this one just to see what the options were out there. But I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to see my stuff when I'm at home and make sure that it's okay. And using that Starling Home Hub, it's so awesome to have it on Apple Home. And right here on my wall-mounted iPad, I can check on that storage unit anytime. Now keep in mind, because this is a 4G LTE camera, you are going to need a data plan because you are using cellular, and you can see here some of the options and some of the price points. I've been using this for a couple months. I've reloaded my data one time. All right, now let's talk about using this camera with the Reolink app. So here you go. Here's my Reolink home screen. You can see the camera, see my battery percentage, my cellular signal. If I click on it, there's my live view. Top image is the normal view. The bottom image is the zoomed in view with the telephoto lens. At the very top, I could sound the siren if I want to scare the crap out of somebody if they're breaking into my unit. I could hit the flashlight or the spotlight to turn on that color night vision. I could turn that on and off. I've got all the settings of the camera, and then all the way to the right, I've got more night vision options, auto, black and white, or color. Right at the bottom of the image, I can pause the image, I can toggle on and off the audio, I can take a still picture, I can take a video clip, or I can go full screen. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you've got your talk feature where you can talk through the camera, your pan, tilt, zoom controls, and that's where you can go to playback. And in playback, you can change the date and scroll, etc. All right, talking briefly about the settings of the camera. That'll show you what you've got left for your use space on your data plan. You've got your battery. You can control different display options, different sound options. You can turn the audio on and off. You can control your spotlight, PIR motion sensor, turn that on and off. You've got your detection alarm. You can turn it on and off the auto tracking, the tracking type. I've got mine set to people, so it'll follow a person. You've got different tracking methods. You can do digital tracking or pan tilt tracking. So it'll actually, because of the two lenses, it can track a person even without moving the camera with the digital tracking. And you can also create a schedule. You can toggle on and off your push notifications, email alerts, your siren on or off. This camera also has time lapse, which is an awesome feature of Reolink that I use all the time. Not so much in my storage unit because it's not very exciting, but the other cameras, man, I use the crap out of that feature. You can log out and you can delete the camera. All right, that's using the camera with the Reolink app. All right, so what do I think of the Reolink TrackMix LTE? Let's give you my review. Pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. First up, it's awesome that you can put this camera anywhere. I love having this camera in my storage unit a mile away. No Wi-Fi, no problem. No power, use their solar panel, no problem. You could literally put this camera out in the middle of a field. We've got 4K resolution, which is as good as it gets. You've got the dual lens, so it's awesome to have that normal lens and that telephoto lens to truly zoom in. I love that it's a pan tilt camera, so I can use one camera and circle around my entire storage unit. Or if you did have this out in a field, you could have a 360 view around this camera, and that's awesome. It's great that they offer flexible storage, especially the SD card storage, because that's free, and we all love free storage. Moving on to cons. Now, even though having the dual lenses is great, sometimes I just don't like that type of view. I don't like the double image. Yeah, you can split it to where you can just see one image, but I don't know. It's just a weird aspect ratio, and sometimes it's a little funky, but you just have to get used to it. So it's a very mild con, but for me, sometimes it's a con. Another con, because this is a cellular camera and it has that 4G LTE, that does mean that you're going to have a fee for that data plan. Now, it is nice that you have so many different options depending on how much data you're going to use, but you do have to pay nonetheless. Now, it's awesome that they've got the Spotlight Color Night Vision on this camera, but I really like Reolink's ColorX Night Vision, which I've done a video on here recently. This camera doesn't have it, and I wish it did. So for me, that's a con, because at this point, I think all of Reolink's cameras should have that ColorX. But that's just my opinion. All right, there you go. That's my review of the Reolink TrackMix LTE. What do you think? Are you a fan of Reolink? Have you been looking for an LTE camera because you have an interesting application or situation where you need a camera out in the middle of a spot where you can't run wires or you have no Wi-Fi? I'd love to know your story. If you have an LTE camera somewhere interesting, please let me know in the comments. Or if you have a good idea of where you might put this camera, let me know that too. Now keep in mind, wherever you put this camera, it does have cellular. So if it's out in the boonies where there's no cellular, this still might not work. So please keep that in mind. But the cellular part of this really does open it up, because nowadays, most places in the world have cellular. But please keep that in mind. All right, I appreciate your support very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and until the next video, peace and love, my friends.